Thank you, Madam Speaker. Members, I rise for the final time as a member of this body to adjourn in the memory of two great Americans, Jeremy Wise and Ben Wise. Jeremy Wise was a veteran of the U.S. Navy SEALs who was killed by a suicide bomber in Khost, Afghanistan. Ben Wise was an Army Green Beret, a member of the fabled Special Forces who was also killed in Afghanistan in a firefight with insurgents. Both Jeremy and Ben were veterans of Iraq and Afghanistan. Both were husbands, both were fathers. They actually were brothers. In addition to all of that, they were my cousins. They were two of my closest friends growing up. When I was a child, it was me and my little brother and the three wise men, as we called them. Jeremy, who was my age, Ben, and then Bo, who was the youngest. The five of us spent countless days and hours together doing all of the things that young boys do. We rode bikes, we played baseball, we had sleepovers, we went camping. We broke a lot of things, sometimes each other. As we all grew together, we did things that you do later in life. We went to movies. We stayed out too late. We chased girls. As we came into adulthood, we all simultaneously went together through the process of getting married, of having kids, of having families. There's this assumption when you're a child and you have your family and your friends that you will all go through life together until it meets its natural end. You don't anticipate things like this. Even when we all joined the military together, I went first in the Marine Corps. Jeremy followed second into the Navy. Ben joined the Army, my little brother joined the Navy, and Bo, the youngest, joined the Marine Corps. Even during all of that, you still don't anticipate something as tragic as two of three brothers both being killed in combat. Holidays, even when we were in the deployment, were often a time, if deployments and duty stations lined up, where we would all get together. And you can imagine with a SEAL, a Green Beret, two Marines, and a pilot, you would have some pretty fierce flag football games. I would like to state for the record in all of history that my team won every time. But it was an amazing experience having us all together on a regular basis. Tragically, the last time we were all brought together was after Jeremy's death. By all recorded accounts, when a suicide bomber had identified himself as a suicide bomber, Jeremy Wise was the only guy running towards the threat. A family, the Wise family, a mother, a father, the siblings had to go through the prospect that thousands of American families have gone through, greeting a flag-draped coffin at Dover Air Force Base. A memorial service. I'll never forget sitting in the hallway of a hotel at 3 a.m. with Ben, the night before we buried his brother, talking about all the things we've been through in life, trying to understand how God's grace and compassion could be consistent with such a tragic occurrence. But never in a million years did I think that earlier this year we would be in that same position, this time discussing the loss of Ben. Ben was shot in Afghanistan. He was an 18 Delta, a proud Green Beret who treated himself in the initial hours after his injuries. He held on for a long time, long enough to make it to Germany, where his family greeted him and saw him before he passed. For everyone who's been through a deployment, you know that you fill out forms that outline how you would like your remains to be handled in the event that you don't make it home. As we examined Ben's last request, we found that he wanted to be buried in his service uniforms, and he requested to be buried next to his brother. I didn't plan to do an adjourn in memory because it's a very difficult topic. It's an emotional topic. Although I suppose I'm probably okay if I get emotional about it because I'm absolutely certain I could whip the ass of any member of this body. So I can get emotional. It's all right. But 2 days ago, I was talking to my youngest brother, who's preparing to deploy on Sunday for another deployment to the Middle East. And it reminded me of so many thousands of California families and American families that make such a tremendous commitment to service. and so many families that now understand the searing pain of a tragic loss. And so, members, I ask tonight that we adjourn in the memory of two brothers who gave their life. John chapter 15, verse 13 says, "Greater love has no one than this, than he lay down his life for his friends." In this case, there's two brothers who laid down their lives for all of us. I ask that we adjourn in the memory not only of these two brothers, but of all who have given their life, so that we can come into a body like this. We can live in a society with free and fair elections that are free of coercion, where one person equals one vote. You can debate the issues. You can vote on what you want to do. We can work to make people's lives better. We can always do it with an understanding that we exist with a basic freedom and liberty that so many societies around the world and people around the world don't enjoy. But that's only because we have brave men and women like Jeremy and Ben Wise, who are willing to go into harm's way, who are willing to make the ultimate sacrifice. So, members, I ask that we adjourn in their memory this evening. Thank you.